we are going to be doing our Unit 2 assessment and during RTI time, because I have you and Mrs. Reed in the room and Mrs. Ritchie in the room to help the students at each table. And then on Thursday, we will resume our Christmas literacy centers. So I just wanted to explain the test to you so that you knew what we were going to be doing when it's time to sit down and help the students. So these are the directions that I will be reading to the students.
Okay.
So they can be repeated. I can repeat them, you can repeat them, any of our paraeducators can repeat them. And at the beginning of each section, we do a practice one where we'll have the students raise their hand and give their answer, and we'll tell them yes or no, just to make sure that the whole class understands whether or not they're
How
doing
they
it.
go, yeah.
Exactly. So I have to read the bold words word for word. The first section is phonemic awareness, so it's the beginning sounds in the words. So it's all the sounds we've done from the beginning of the year. T, as, p, k, and it. So it's everything we do during rug time. So you know all that.
Yes, yeah.
Let's see what else. Then we'll move on to phonics. And I'll say, this is a picture of a pin. The middle sound in pin is I. Circle the letter for I. And they need to find the letter I. So it's pretty simple.
Yeah, just what happened if some kids say, oh, Miss W, I don't know. So I know they have to do by yourself.
Yes.
Just, so we have to tell them, like, try what you think your best.
Exactly. Try your best. Look at all three of the answers before you take your guess. Maybe it will come back to you. Because some kids, if they don't know, they'll circle the first letter all the way down.
Yeah.
We don't want them to do that. They'll try to get you to give the answer to them. If, just like in literacy centers, when we can help them, we have to make them answer their...
We can say yes or no, even when they ask.
And even when they get it right, and they say, oh, Mrs. W.
I can make any
just say,
face.
say, okay, I'll look at it later. I'll look at it later. Because then the person next to them might, you know, peek behind the, you know. Let's see. After that, we'll do our high frequency words. So the students call those their popcorn words. That's easy. That goes real quick. Just make sure they're looking at all three words. Because if I say circle like, but the first word is little, they see that
I know they make mistake.
the L-I.
What happened if they circle two words? Can I tell them you have to choose one?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because it's easy for them to not realize they didn't move down a row. And in the first section, they're supposed to circle two answers for the two words that begin with p or the same sound. So in that section, we want them to circle two, but every other section they're only circling one. So some kids might need reminders.
If it's okay, if when they sometimes it's circle two, and it's okay if they cross wrong one.
Yeah.
You just keep going. Next one. Okay.
Yeah, they can make an X. It actually saves time if they don't get an eraser.
Exactly my point.
It takes a very long time.
Yeah.
If you have an eraser, you could erase it, but that's fine with me. The very last section is comprehension. I will have them come back to the rug. I will read them a story. The story is this long, a couple of paragraphs. There's no pictures for them to look at, so it's all listening comprehension. They have to pay attention. Then we'll come back to the tables and I'll ask them 5 questions about the story, and there's pictures for them to circle the answers to. And if they forget the story or they weren't paying attention, they have to take their best guess. So it's very important that they listen. This is how I find out if they have those comprehension skills. So we can't repeat the story to them.
Can you read twice or one time for kids?
I generally read the story twice.
Okay. So somebody between, I can say pay attention or something between your reading.
Yeah, if you notice that someone on the rug isn't focusing on me while I read the story, you can, tap their shoulder and point to me. as long as we're not interrupting the story. I don't wanna stop and say, Patrick, look at me, because
exactly.
then they,
Whole class be.
yeah, and then they might think Patrick is the character in the story. I just don't wanna confuse
Yeah, you're
them.
right.
So that will be the test. And let's see. These Christmas centers for Thursday are very similar to the Christmas centers that we did last week. This one is Christmas middles, so we will have these, and we're looking for the middle sound in the word. So they have the orange on the outside, which means they'll use an orange marker or an orange colored pencil, and they'll say doll. Use their arm like we do.
This is the best way.
Exactly.
What you hear in the center.
Perfect. So when they hear that aw sound in the middle, they'll take the orange marker and write O. When they do, let's see, what's a fun one? Any of these.
So my
Cat.
question is, you'll be doing this for whole class or individual? Because when you check later, if you do individual, you have every single paper, different colors of the.
Yep, so they can be, you can let them pick up the card one at a time, because if they use the colors, then they know, oh, I already did gray. I don't need to do this one, I'll put it back in the middle. You can do, I would do 2 with them at first, so that they understand the directions. They've seen their friends do it, they've seen you do it, and then I'd let them explore on their own. And you can just kind of check, oh, did they get this one right? And if you notice that it's wrong, you could say, oh, Vincent, why don't we look at this one again?
One more time.
Yeah, whoever might need help.
So this time I have to help them, I mean not help, just give them instruction, do one more time what you hear, and they have to change?
Yeah,
Okay,
and if they still don't get it, then you really
Yes.
need to
show them.
really show them and make sure that they hear it. And if they don't hear it, just let me know, and I'll
They
see.
need work.
I'll try a different activity with them on another day, and I might write a little note to mom and dad and say, Ashley needs some help with listening to the middle sounds. She does great with beginning sounds, but she needs help with middle sounds.
Okay.
Because that's a whole different skill, hearing that middle sound. Beginning's easy, then the ending's a little bit harder, and then the middle,
It's hard.
I think is the hardest.
yeah.
But they'll get it. Trim the tree. Here's all the vowels, and they're short vowels for most of them. Actually, I'm sorry. There's a couple of long vowels, like I for ice cream. So the students will cut these out, and they have to sort them onto the Christmas tree that they belong with the vowel. This activity takes a little bit longer because of the cutting portion, but that's good for their fine motor skills as well.
So my question,
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
if you know how the kids cut, they don't have
Yep.
hands perfect for cutting. If some students cut like half picture, not every single picture,
Yeah.
just 1 or 3 picture, like half, what you can do?
You can say, well, you just cut the octopus, now I need you to draw the octopus because you cut it by accident. Or if you have extras at the table, you can use it.
Another
Yeah.
paper and she get
Yep.
your cut.
Whatever you think that child's better at.
Okay,
If they're really struggling and we're running out of time, have them draw a quick picture.
okay.
Let's see.
And next.
And the last one, tricky elves. So we're gonna look at the picture and we're going to write the tricky word in the box. So you color the elf to match. So the border on this one is black, so we wanna color the elf black so we know which one of these circle cards that you used. So some of them have long vowels in the middle, like 5. So if they sounded out 5, So if they wrote FIV, it's acceptable because we haven't learned silent E at the end yet, and that's perfectly fine. They can sound out cat and write CAT. They should be able to sound that words like that out, CBC words out just fine. And it's very similar with all the colored borders, like the Christmas moose and the sight word one you did last week with the presents on that page.
That was good.
Yeah. So I think you'll be.
Activity and
This,
practice.
this should be easy for
Words.
them. It should be easy for you.
Just some kids, they really need help and work longer than most kids.
Yeah. Especially as the groups rotate, you'll see that, Ashley and Cheyenne's group, it's easy. They'll be
Yeah.
done quicker. And then you have Tony's group and
Tony and Adrian,
yeah, well, yes.
because she sometimes not understand,
Mhm.
so need help.
And when he's not with the ELL teacher and when he's with us for these literacy centers, it's a lot more work. You know,
I'm fine, I even
Yeah.
stay after school, and if it's possible, I help them.
yeah, absolutely.
Just, too bad my thing, it's they go home and not practice. A lot of kids not even open paper.
I know, you look at their folders and they have so
Mhm.
much in there.
Yeah.
So the best thing we can do is just tell them, tell your mom, tell your dad, look at all my hard work. I did all this hard work, and if they start speaking like that to their parents, maybe
I hope.
they will show their parents.
Yeah,
But
very nice.
any questions? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry.